Many socialites wanted the widowed millionaire, but he fell for the cleaning lady. I've told you 100 times, Nathan. I'm not letting those gold diggers anywhere near you right now, Eleanor Grayson snapped, smoothing her tailored blazer as they stood in the marble lobby of St. Peter's Cathedral. The memorial service had just ended, and the air still carried the heavy scent of lilies. Clara would have wanted me to keep you safe. Nathan Caldwell adjusted his cufflinks, his face lined with exhaustion. The service ended an hour ago, Eleanor. I just want to go home. Home? To what? Silence. Eleanor's voice softened, but her eyes were sharp. It's been 4 months since Clara passed, Nathan. Every socialite in Chicago circling you like hawks. You're the widowed billionaire now, and they smell blood. She glanced across the room where Vanessa Langley lingered by the pews, her polished smile dripping with fake sympathy. Vanessa's already asked me twice about your charity board seat. Not today, Nathan said, his tone hard. He caught Vanessa's gaze and turned away, his jaw tight. I need space. Space is the last thing you need, Eleanor huffed. But Nathan was already walking toward the exit, his polished shoes echoing on the stone floor. You're a prize, Nathan, whether you like it or not. Across town, in a cramped apartment in Pilsen, Sofia Morales shoveled a quick bite of tamales before her night shift. Mommy, slow down. You're going to choke, her son Diego said, leaning back in his chair, his algebra textbook open. Can't be late again, Pequeno, Sofia replied, checking her cracked phone screen for the time. Mrs. Carver's got a hawk eye on me. She stood, grabbing her jacket. Leftovers are in the fridge. No staying up watching those superhero movies. And you don't stay up working too hard, Diego shot back, his voice quieter. You don't gotta do this forever, Mommy. I can get a job. No way, Sofia cut him off, firm but warm. Your job's school. Keep those grades up, get that scholarship, we're set. She ruffled his hair. This is temporary, once I finish my bookkeeping course. 3 years of temporary, Diego mumbled. Sofia sighed, grabbing her cleaning uniform from the hook. Night classes take time, especially with 2 jobs. Lock the door, okay? She kissed his forehead and rushed out. 40 minutes later, Sofia swiped her ID at the service entrance of Caldwell Enterprises Tower on Michigan Avenue. She changed into her gray uniform in the basement locker room, pinned on her name tag, and headed to the supervisor's desk. You're on executive floors tonight, Mrs. Carver said, barely glancing up from her schedule. Floors 30 to 33, start at the top. But that's Rosa's shift, Sofia said, surprised. Rosa's out sick, Mrs. Carver replied, her voice clipped. Don't touch anything personal, desks, papers, nothing. Just trash, vacuum, dust. Got it? Sofia nodded, wheeling her cart to the service elevator. She'd never cleaned the executive floors before. The pay was the same, but Rosa always grumbled about late-working CEOs who ignored her like she was part of the furniture. When the elevator opened on the 33rd floor, Sofia paused. The contrast hit her hard. Soft cream carpets instead of linoleum, abstract paintings instead of cheap prints, sleek glass walls instead of concrete. She started with the empty offices, moving quietly, the building nearly silent at this hour. As she neared the corner office, a faint glow spilled from under the frosted glass door. The nameplate read, Nathan Caldwell, CEO. Her stomach flipped. She knocked lightly. Come in, a low, tired voice called. Sofia pushed the door open, her cart creaking. A man stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, staring out at the city's twinkling lights. Even from behind, she could tell his suit cost more than her rent. Tailored, sharp, hugging his tall frame. Sorry to bother you, sir, Sofia said, gripping her duster. I can come back later? He turned, and Sofia froze. He looked younger than she'd expected, maybe late 30s, with dark hair and eyes that carried a weight she couldn't place. No, it's fine, he said, his voice softer than she'd imagined for a CEO. I shouldn't still be here. Sofia nodded, edging toward the desk to start her work. A framed photo caught her eye, a radiant woman with long auburn hair laughing on a beach. "That's my late wife," Nathan said, noticing her glance. His tone was flat, like he'd said it too many times. "I'm so sorry," Sophia said, her cheeks warm. "I didn't mean to—" "It's okay," he cut in, gathering files into a briefcase. "Just do what you need to." The silence felt heavy as Sophia emptied the trash and dusted the shelves, moving like a shadow around the room. Nathan barely seemed to notice her, lost in his own world. When he finally left, his footsteps fading down the hall, Sophia let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. She had no clue that the quiet man in the corner office was about to change her life forever. An hour later, Sophia was wiping down a conference table on the 32nd floor when disaster struck. Rounding a corner with her cart, she didn't see Nathan standing there, checking his phone. Her elbow bumped the cart and a half-empty coffee cup she'd balanced on top tipped over, splashing dark liquid across his crisp white shirt and gray jacket. "Oh no, I'm so sorry," Sophia gasped, her heart sinking as the stain spread across what she knew was crazy expensive fabric. Nathan looked down, unfazed. "It's fine," he said, almost amused. "It was cold anyway." "No, it's not fine," Sophia blurted, horrified. "Your shirt, I can pay for cleaning." She cringed inside. She could barely afford Diego's school supplies, let alone this. He waved her off, a faint smile breaking through. "No need, really. He glanced at her name tag. "Sophia, right?" "Sophia Morales," she said, fumbling for a rag from her cart, her hands shaky. "Please, let me fix this." "It's just a shirt," he said, taking the rag she offered, their fingers brushing for a second. "Late nights, accidents happen." Sophia hesitated, then grabbed a small bottle from her cart. "This works better," she said, holding up her homemade stain remover. "Just vinegar and soap, but it's magic on coffee." Nathan raised an eyebrow, but let her spray it on the stain. The brown mark faded fast. "Well, damn," he said, genuinely impressed. "Where'd you learn that?" "When you're a single mom with a kid who spills everything, you pick up tricks," Sophia said, a shy smile creeping in. He chuckled, a real laugh, not the fake kind she heard from other execs. "Smart. I'll remember that next time I ruin a suit." "I'm so sorry," she said again, relaxing a bit. "I didn't think anyone would be here this late." "Neither did my driver," Nathan replied, his smile fading as he glanced at his phone. "Guess we're both stuck burning the midnight oil." After the coffee spill was cleaned up, Sophia Morales hurried back to her cart, her cheeks burning under the weight of curious stares in Nathan Caldwell's office. The stain on his shirt was gone, but the memory of his quiet laugh lingered in her mind. She shook it off. "Focus, Sophia. You've got floors to clean." As she pushed her cart down the hall, Nathan called after her, "Sophia, wait." She turned, surprised to see him jogging to catch up, his tie slightly loosened. "Yes, Mr. Caldwell?" "Thanks again for the stain trick," he said, a half-smile breaking through his tired eyes. "You saved me from looking like a coffee disaster tomorrow." "It's nothing, really," Sophia said, gripping her cart handle. "I should get back to work." "You're here late," he said, glancing at his watch. "It's past midnight." "Night shift," she replied with a shrug. "I clean till 2 a.m. Monday through Friday. Got a day job, too, receptionist downtown." Nathan's brow furrowed. "2 jobs? That's gotta wear you out." "Pays the bills," Sophia said, her voice steady but warm. "And my son's college fund won't fill itself." "Your son?" Nathan's tone softened, curious. "How old?" "Diego's 15, she said, a proud spark in her eyes. "Sophomore in high school. Straight A kid, wants to be an architect." "That's something," Nathan said, genuinely impressed. "You must be proud." "Every day," Sophia replied, then caught herself. Why was she chatting with the CEO like they were old friends? "I should finish the floor, Mr. Caldwell." "Of course," he said, stepping back. "Don't let me keep you." As she wheeled away, he added, "And Sophia? Call me Nathan." She nodded, a shy smile slipping out before she turned away, her heart beating a little faster than it should. The next morning, Sophia was half asleep on her couch when her phone buzzed, jolting her awake. An unknown number. She answered, wary. "Hello?" "Miss Morales. This is Mrs. Carver from Elite Cleaning. Her supervisor's sharp voice cut through. "We've got a problem." Sophia sat up, her stomach twisting. "What's wrong?" "You cleaned Mr. Caldwell's office last night, correct?" Mrs. Carver's tone was cold. "His cufflink is missing. A custom piece, worth thousands. Security's reviewing footage. You were the last one in there." "I didn't take anything," Sophia's voice cracked, panic rising. "I'd never—" "I'm not accusing you," Mrs. Carver said, but her voice said otherwise. "Come to the building now. Security needs to talk." Sophia dragged herself to Caldwell Enterprises Tower, exhaustion mixing with dread. As she neared the security desk, something caught her eye, a glint by the elevator doors. She knelt down and picked up a silver cufflink, engraved with a tiny C. Her breath hitched. This had to be it. "Miss Morales?" The security guard's voice was gruff as she approached. "We need to— Is this it?" Sophia interrupted, holding up the cufflink. "I found it by the elevators. Must have fallen when I spilled coffee on him last night." The guard took it, inspecting it closely. "Looks like it. Where exactly was it?" Before Sophia could explain, a woman in a sleek emerald dress strode up, her heels clicking like gunfire on the marble floor. Her polished beauty screamed money-perfect hair, designer bag, and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Excuse me," she said, eyeing Sophia like she was dirt. "I'm here for Nathan Caldwell." "Yes, Miss Langley," the guard said, snapping to attention. "Mr. Caldwell's on his way. There was an issue with a lost item, but it's resolved." Nathan's voice came from behind. "Sophia?" He stepped out of the elevator, surprise flickering across his face as he saw her holding the cufflink. "I found this," Sophia said quickly, handing it over. "By the elevators, where the coffee." Nathan's expression softened as he took it, slipping it into his pocket. "Thank you, Sophia. I thought this was gone for good." "You're welcome," she mumbled, her cheeks warm under his gaze. The woman in the dress cleared her throat. "Nathan, darling, we're late for lunch with Eleanor," she said, her voice syrupy but sharp. "She's waiting at the Drake." Nathan's face tightened, his warmth fading. "1 second, Vanessa," he turned back to Sophia. "Thanks again. I owe you one." As Sophia walked away, Vanessa's stare burned into her back, cold, calculating, like she was sizing up a threat. Later that evening, in her Gold Coast penthouse, Vanessa swirled a glass of wine, scrolling through a file her assistant had sent. Sophia Morales, single mom, immigrant, night school student. She smirked. How ordinary. She dialed a number. "Eleanor? It's Vanessa. We need to talk about Nathan. He's getting distracted, and I think it's time we step in." "You've outdone yourself, Vanessa," Eleanor said weeks later, admiring the Palmer House ballroom decked out in orchids and gold chandeliers for the Heart of Chicago Gala. "Clara would have adored this." Vanessa adjusted a floral arrangement, her smile practiced. It's all for her legacy, and to keep Nathan surrounded by the right people while he grieves. Eleanor nodded, her eyes scanning the room until they landed on Nathan, tugging at his bow tie by the entrance. "He didn't want to come, said he had meetings." "Well, he's here now," Vanessa said, her tone clipped. "I'll make sure he stays." She glided toward him. "Nathan, you made it." "Barely," he muttered, his eyes distant. "Let's make this quick." Across town, Sophia wrestled with an eyeliner pencil in her tiny bathroom, her black blouse half-buttoned. "You clean up nice," Diego called from the living room, munching on chips. "Emergency gig," Sophia said, pinning her hair into a messy bun. "Waitressing at some fancy gala. Double pay on a weekend. Who says no to that?" "You ever chill, Mommy?" Diego asked, shaking his head. "Chill doesn't pay the bills," she teased, grabbing her purse. "There's pizza money on the counter. Finish your physics homework." "I'm 15, not 5, Diego groaned. "Then act like it," Sophia shot back, with a grin, rushing out. At the Palmer House, the catering manager barked orders as Sophia arrived. "Trays out, smiles on. No chit-chat with guests," he snapped, shoving a tray of sparkling water into her hands. "They want service, not your story. Sophia nodded, stepping into the ballroom. The glitz hit her like a wave, diamonds flashing, tuxedos everywhere, laughter loud over a string quartet. She wove through the crowd, offering drinks, trying to blend into the background. An hour in, her feet aching, she slipped to a side table to swap her empty tray. As she turned, she nearly bumped into someone. "We got to stop meeting like this," a familiar voice said, low and warm. Sophia looked up, mortified, to see Nathan, his tuxedo sharp but his smile real. "Mr. Caldwell, Nathan," she corrected herself. "I'm so sorry." "No coffee this time, so we're safe," he teased, his eyes crinkling. "What's got you here?" "Extra shift," she said, gesturing to her tray. "Cleaning by night, serving by, well, tonight." "When do you sleep?" he asked, half serious. "Sleeps for the week," Sophia quipped, then froze, realizing she'd gotten too comfortable. Nathan laughed, a full, warm sound that cut through the ballroom's noise. "Nathan, darling," Vanessa's voice sliced in as she appeared, her arm sliding through his. "The Hendersons want to talk about the foundation." Her eyes flicked to Sophia, cold as ice. "We don't need anything, thank you." "Actually," Nathan said, gently pulling his arm free, "I was catching up with Sophia." He turned to her. "You found my cufflink, didn't you?" Sophia nodded, uneasy under Vanessa's stare. "Yeah, by the elevators." "How clever," Vanessa said, her smile sharp. "But surely you have work to do." Before Nathan could reply, Vanessa's elbow brushed Sophia's tray, sending a glass of sparkling water crashing to the floor. It shattered, splashing Sophia's blouse. "Oh, how clumsy of me," Vanessa said, her tone dripping with fake concern. The room went quiet, heads turning. Sophia's face burned, her hands trembling as water dripped from her sleeve. "I've got it," she whispered, kneeling to pick up the shards. "Let me," Nathan said, crouching beside her, ignoring the stares. He grabbed a napkin, his voice low. "You okay?" "You don't have to do this," Sophia muttered, her cheeks hot. "You're a guest." "I don't care," Nathan said, his jaw tight as he helped her clean. "This wasn't your fault." Vanessa's voice cut through. "Nathan, really? Let the staff handle it. The Hendersons are waiting." "I'll be there in a minute," he said, his tone sharp enough to silence her. As Vanessa walked off, her heels clicking, Nathan looked at Sophia. "Don't let her get to you." After the mess was cleaned, Sophia slipped away, her heart racing, not just from embarrassment, but from the way Nathan's eyes had held hers, like he saw her, really saw her. "I was just doing my job," Sophia Morales said, her voice steady despite the warmth in her cheeks. The broken glass from the gala was long cleaned up, but Nathan Caldwell's quiet insistence on helping her still echoed in her mind. She stood by her tray, avoiding his gaze as the ballroom buzzed with wealthy guests. Nathan smiled, softer than she'd expected from a man who ran half of Chicago. "You did more than that, Sophia. Don't sell yourself short." He stepped back, giving her space. "I should get back to the vultures." Sophia watched him blend into the crowd, Vanessa Langley's arm already snaking through his. She shook her head. "Focus, Sophia. You've got glasses to serve and a kid to feed." But as she moved through the gala, her damp blouse clinging to her skin, Vanessa's cold stare lingered in her memory, sharp as a blade. Later that night, Nathan sat in his Lakeshore Drive penthouse, a glass of bourbon untouched on the coffee table. The city sparkled below, but his mind was elsewhere, on the woman who'd apologized for a spill that wasn't her fault, who'd looked at him like a person, not a paycheck. His phone lit up with a text from Eleanor Grayson. "Vanessa told me about the scene with the waitress. Clara would have wanted better standards, Nathan. Don't forget who you are." He tossed the phone aside, jaw tight. For the first time in months, he'd felt a spark, not because of his wealth or his name, but because Sophia Morales didn't care about either. Tomorrow, he decided, he'd find out more about her. The next morning, Nathan leaned back in his office chair facing his HR head, Linda Torres. "I need the file on a cleaning contractor," he said, keeping his tone casual. "Sophia Morales." Linda blinked, surprised. A cleaner? Why? Security follow-up, Nathan said smoothly. That cufflink incident? Security cleared it, Linda said, frowning. The cufflink was found. Humor me, Nathan replied, his expression unreadable. 10 minutes later, he skimmed Sophia's file alone. Mexican-American, single mom, night school for business management, stellar work reviews. He closed it. An idea forming. A way to give her a chance without crossing lines. 2 days later, Sophia was called to Mrs. Carver's office at the cleaning agency. You're being reassigned, Mrs. Carver said, her voice flat. No, it's not about the gala. Sophia's heart sank. Then what? It's not a punishment, Mrs. Carver cut in, looking baffled herself. You've been requested for a part-time role in Caldwell Enterprises' finance department. Day hours. Sophia froze. Finance? I don't... Someone saw your night school records, Mrs. Carver said. It's flexible, works around your classes, pays double your cleaning rate. What about my night shifts? Sophia asked, her mind racing. Keep them if you want, Mrs. Carver said, raising an eyebrow, though I don't know why you'd burn yourself out. Diego's college fund, Sophia said, automatically. I can't lose that. Your call, Mrs. Carver replied. Start tomorrow, 10 a.m., 12th floor. Ask for Miss Patel. That night, Sophia paced her Pilsen apartment, explaining to Diego over leftover arroz con pollo, so I do finance stuff during the day, classes at night, and some cleaning shifts to keep the savings going. That's nuts, Mommy, Diego said, crossing his arms. You'll crash. It's temporary, Sophia insisted. This job's real experience, better than scrubbing floors. Diego squinted. This ain't weird to you? A random finance gig after you meet the big boss at that gala? Sophia stopped pacing. How'd you know about that? Mateo's cousin was serving drinks, Diego said. Said the billionaire guy got down to clean glass with you. Is he hitting on you, or what? No, Sophia said, her face heating up. Mr. Caldwell's been professional. It's just a job, Pequeno. Diego didn't look convinced. If you say so. The next morning, Sophia stepped onto the 12th floor, her nerves jangling. A sharp-eyed woman, Miss Patel, greeted her. You'll handle data entry for accounts payable, she said. Your schoolwork shows promise. This is a chance to prove it. By the end of her first week, Sophia found a rhythm. Her co-workers were polite, though some whispered about her quick hire. She spotted Nathan once in the elevator, where he gave a quick nod. Settling in okay, Sophia? Yes, thank you, she said, keeping it short, aware of the eyes around them. Meanwhile, in a River North cafe, Vanessa Langley sipped an espresso across from Eleanor. He's dodging me, Vanessa complained. Turned down 2 brunches this week? He's always been stubborn, Eleanor said, stirring her tea. Clara knew how to handle him. I don't know what to do. That cleaning woman, Vanessa said, her voice low. She's in finance now. Did Nathan tell you? Eleanor's cup froze midair. Finance? No, he didn't. He's keeping secrets, Vanessa said, leaning in. I'm hosting a dinner next weekend. Investors, board members. I've got the perfect guest for Nathan. Lillian Carver. Old money, Clara's college friend. Impeccable. Eleanor's face softened. Clara loved Lillian. He can't say no to that. The following Monday, Nathan swung by the finance department, pausing at Sophia's desk where she was buried in spreadsheets. How's it going, Sophia? She jumped slightly, then smiled. Good, thanks. Just wrestling with numbers. I heard you caught a glitch in the riverfront project budget, he said, leaning casually against her desk. Saved us a headache. Miss Patel mentioned it? Sophia asked, surprised he knew. It was just a rounding error. Don't downplay it, Nathan said, his tone warm. You're sharp. A co-worker's glance made Sophia shift uncomfortably. Thanks, Mr. Caldwell. Actually, Nathan said, noticing the attention, I came about the Lakeside condo project. We need someone on the cost analysis team. Patel says, you're a fit. Me? Sophia blinked. I've barely been here. Fresh eyes are the best eyes, he said, handing her a slim folder. Meetings Wednesday, 3 p.m. if you're up for it. After he left, Sophia flipped through the folder, pages of budgets, timelines, and a bonus structure that made her eyes widen. That night, she got home to find Diego waiting, his arms crossed. "Your boss called," Diego said, holding up a post-it. "Said your phone was off. Something about the meeting moving to Tuesday." Sofia checked her dead phone, frowning. "He called here?" "Yeah," Diego said, his tone skeptical. "Asked about my school stuff, too. Knew I'm into architecture. You telling him my life story, Mommy?" "We talked once," Sofia said, flustered. "I mentioned you like buildings." "Once?" Diego raised an eyebrow. "Mateo says—" "I don't care what Mateo says," Sofia snapped, then softened. "This job's a big deal, Diego. It's our ticket up." Diego shrugged, unconvinced, as Sofia stared at the project folder. Why was Nathan Caldwell noticing her? And what would Vanessa Langley do when she found out Sofia wasn't just cleaning his office anymore? Weeks later, the Lakeside condo team gathered in a sleek conference room. "We nailed it," Nathan announced as investors signed off on their pitch, their cost projections winning over even the toughest critics. Cheers erupted. Sofia stayed back organizing her notes. She'd crunched numbers that shaved thousands off the budget, and the team's praise felt good, but strange. Nathan approached, grinning. "Dinner tonight at Alinea to celebrate. You're coming, right? Your work sealed this deal." "I've got class," Sofia said, hesitating. "And Diego?" "One night off won't hurt," Nathan said, his voice gentle. "Your team needs you there, Sofia." She met his eyes, caught by the way he said her name, like it mattered. "You don't give up, do you?" she teased. "Not when it's worth it," he said, his smile real. "Those rich people and their games," Diego said, shaking his head as he helped Sofia clear the dinner plates. The Lakeside condo project celebration was hours ago, but Sofia's mind was still stuck on Nathan Caldwell's words. "Your team needs you there, Sofia." She dodged the fancy dinner, citing her night class, but the way he'd looked at her, like she wasn't just a co-worker, kept her awake. Nathan walked her to the office elevator after the meeting, his suit jacket slung over his arm. "You sure I can't convince you for dinner? It's just the team." "My uniform's not exactly Alinea material," Sofia said, gesturing to her plain blouse, still creased from her shift. "Plus, I've got Diego in class." "It's not charity," Nathan said, his voice firm but kind. "It's a thank you for saving our budget." "You're not responsible for my budget," Sofia teased, then softened. "Go celebrate with your team. I'll be fine." Nathan frowned like he wanted to say more, but nodded. "Next time, then." As Sofia rode the bus home, Vanessa Langley's icy smile from the gala flashed in her mind, sharp and warning. She pushed it away. Nathan was just being nice, right? That night, Nathan sat in his penthouse, the Chicago skyline glittering below. He ignored a text from Eleanor. "Vanessa says you skipped the Henderson lunch. Clara would have kept you focused, Nathan." His thoughts drifted to Sofia, her quick wit, her stubborn pride. She didn't care about his wealth, and that felt like air after years of drowning. Tomorrow, he'd find a way to see her again. 2 hours later, Sofia sat at a corner table in a River North steakhouse, feeling like she'd stepped into someone else's life. Nathan had insisted she join the team dinner after her class got canceled, and Diego, grinning like he knew something, had pushed her out the door. "Go have fun, Mommy. I've got tacos and homework." At the restaurant, Nathan made sure she sat beside him, his ease with the team pulling her in. Between plates of truffle fries and rare steak, he leaned in, his voice low. "You're quiet tonight." "Just soaking it up," Sofia admitted, her fork pausing. "This isn't my usual scene fancy food, fancy people." "Mine either, believe it or not," Nathan said, a wry smile tugging at his lips. "Clara loved this stuff. Galas, big dinners. Me? I'm happier with a burger and a beer." Sofia raised an eyebrow. "You? Slumming it?" "Swear it," he said, laughing. "I'm just playing the part she left me." His mention of Clara softened Sofia's guard. "You must miss her." Nathan's eyes dimmed. "Every day. But lately—" He hesitated, his gaze locking with hers. "Lately, I'm starting to feel like me again. Work's not just a distraction anymore. Sophia's breath caught a flutter of something warm and risky stirring inside her. Before she could speak, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his face tightening. Eleanor, 4th invite this week. She, Edouard, and Vanessa are relentless. You should go, Sophia said gently. Family's important. They're not family, Nathan muttered. They're matchmakers with an agenda. He pocketed the phone. Speaking of invites, there's a photography exhibit at the Art Institute next Friday. Want to come? Sophia blinked. Me? The analyst who caught our budget error, he said, but his eyes said more. It's just art, Sophia. It's not just art, she said carefully, her heart racing. You're my boss. Not tonight, he said softly. Just say yes. After a beat, she nodded, surprising herself. I've never been to the Art Institute. His grin lit up the table. You're gonna love it. Friday night, Diego watched Sophia try on her only nice dress, a simple green one she saved for church. Not a date, huh? He teased, leaning against her bedroom door. It's an exhibit, Sophia said, fussing with her hair. People go to museums with co-workers. On Fridays? Diego smirked. Sure, Mommy. Nathan met her at the museum steps, casual in jeans and a sweater that still screamed money. He walked her through black and white photos of old Chicago, sharing stories like he'd lived in every frame. My dad was a history buff, he said, when she asked how he knew so much. Used to drag me to museums till I started liking it. Sophia relaxed, her questions flowing, about the city, the art, even him. He listened, really listened, like her thoughts mattered. Later, they wandered Millennium Park, the bean reflecting the dusk sky. Tell me about Diego, Nathan said, his voice easy. He's my rock, Sophia said, smiling. His dad passed when he was 6, car accident. It's been us since. He's why I push so hard. For him and you, Nathan said, stopping to face her. You're incredible, Sophia. Most people would have given up. I'm just a mom, she said, brushing it off. No, he said, his voice firm. You're unstoppable. A sharp voice cut through. Nathan, what a surprise. Vanessa Langley strutted up, her designer coat flawless, a brunette woman beside her. Lillian, you remember Nathan? Nathan, Lillian hugged him, too familiar. Eleanor said you've been buried in work. Sophia's stomach twisted. Vanessa's eyes locked on her, razor sharp. And you are? Sophia Morales, Nathan said, his tone even. From our finance team, we're reviewing the Lakeside project. In a park? Vanessa's smile was venom. How committed. Nathan, join us for drinks, Lillian said, her hand on his arm. Eleanor's at Gibson's, for Clara's sake. Sophia saw Nathan's jaw tighten, duty pulling him back. You should go, she said quietly. I need to check on Diego. Sophia, Nathan started, but she stepped back. Thanks for the exhibit, Mr. Caldwell, she said, her voice professional again. See you at work? As she walked away, Vanessa's voice carried, Really, Nathan, mentoring shouldn't mean evening strolls. Monday morning, Sophia found a small photo print on her desk, a shot from the exhibit she'd loved, a Chicago street glowing at dawn. A note read, Keep seeing the beauty, Sophia. She hid it in her drawer as Miss Patel approached. Company newsletter wants team photos today. You're in. That night, Diego eyed the print, now on their kitchen counter. Fancy gift, he said. You like him, don't you? It's messy, pequeño, Sophia said, sighing. He's him. I'm me. Since when do you care what people think? Diego asked. Since my choices could mess things up for us, she said softly. Later, as she prepped for her cleaning shift, a text from Nathan lit her phone. Drinks were boring. Missed the park. You free Sunday? There's a street fest in Pilsen. She hesitated, then typed. Noon, 18th Street. Bring your dancing shoes. Sunday's Pilsen Fest was alive. Salsa music, food stalls, kids running wild. Sophia laughed as Nathan tried to keep up with her moves, his grin brighter than the sun. They shared tamales from her favorite vendor, walking her neighborhood like they belonged. Monday morning, her phone blew up. A tabloid link from a coworker. Billionaire's secret maid fling. Grainy photos, Nathan helping her into his car, them laughing over tamales, dancing close at the fest. The headline screamed she'd targeted him for his wealth. A schemer from the start. Sophia's hands shook as she read. Sources say she saw Caldwell as her ticket out. Her co-workers' texts piled up, Mrs. Carver asking if she'd quit cleaning. Diego stared at her, worried. "This is bad, Mommy." "It's worse," Sophia choked out. "They think I'm—" Her phone rang. "Nathan." "Sophia, I'm so sorry," he said the second she answered. "My lawyers are on it. These photos, they've been tailing us." "For how long?" Sophia's voice trembled. "Vanessa?" "Who else?" Nathan said, furious. "She's been steering my life since Clara died." "It doesn't matter who," Sophia said, her throat tight. "People will believe it." "We did nothing wrong," Nathan insisted. "Didn't we?" Sophia's voice broke. "You're the CEO. I'm the maid who vacuums your office. We knew how this'd look." "Your job's safe," Nathan said. "I'd never—" "It's not about you," Sophia snapped. "My coworkers, they'll think I cheated my way here. Diego's getting whispers at school. I can't do this to him." "Sophia, we can fix this." "Some things don't fix," she said, tears falling. "Our worlds don't mix. I was stupid to think they could." She hung up, blocked his number, and sank to the floor. 3 weeks later, Sophia started fresh at a small bookkeeping firm in Logan Square. The hours were long, the pay tight without cleaning shifts, but her new boss respected her skills, not her headlines. Diego handled school gossip like a champ, his faith in her unshaken. "You didn't do anything wrong, Mommy," he said one night over rice and beans. "Their world's the problem, not you." Sophia Morales pushed her fork through a pile of rice and beans, her mind elsewhere. Diego's words from dinner echoed, "Those rich people and their games." She hadn't told him how much she missed Nathan Caldwell, not his penthouse or his power, but his quiet laughs, the way he asked about her day like it mattered, the spark in his eyes when she challenged him. "He called me, you know," Diego said, breaking her thoughts. Sophia's head snapped up. "What? When?" "Few days ago," Diego said, shrugging. "Asked how I'm doing with all the gossip. Said he's sorry." "Why didn't you tell me?" Sophia asked, her heart twisting. "You blocked him, Mommy," Diego said, studying her. "Thought you were done with him." "What else did he say?" she pressed. "Said he misses your take on things," Diego replied. "Sounded kind of beat up about it." Sophia swallowed hard, staring at her plate. "It's better this way." 2 days later, a shadow fell across her desk at the Logan Square bookkeeping firm. Sophia looked up to see Eleanor Grayson, her silk scarf screaming wealth in the cramped office. "Mrs. Grayson," Sophia said, wary, "how'd you find me?" "I have ways," Eleanor said, waving a hand. "Can we talk alone?" In a tiny break room, Eleanor sat, her posture stiff. "Nathan's a mess," she said bluntly. Distracted, short-tempered, the board's whispering. "I'm sorry," Sophia said, her voice tight, "but that's not my business anymore." "Don't act clueless, Sophia," Eleanor said, her eyes narrowing. "I'm here with an offer." She slid a checkbook from her purse. "Name your price, Diego's college, a new apartment. Stay away from Nathan, and it's yours." Sophia's jaw dropped, anger flaring. "You think I'd take your money?" "Everyone has a price," Eleanor said coolly, "especially those scraping by." "Mrs. Grayson," Sophia said, her voice shaking but firm, "I quit to protect my son and my reputation, not to cash in. I don't want your check. Please go." Eleanor paused, her face softening unexpectedly. "He was happier with you," she admitted. "I haven't seen him smile like that since Clara." Sophia froze, caught off guard. "Then why this?" "Because duty matters more than happiness," Eleanor said, standing. Clara knew that. She grabbed her purse. "Maybe I got you wrong, Sophia. Goodbye." The next Saturday, Sophia stood at Diego's school science fair, beaming as his solar-powered model bridge took third place. Wandering the displays, she heard a familiar voice. "The design's clever. Have you thought about civil engineering?" Nathan was at Diego's booth, nodding at the model. Sophia's heart skipped. "Nathan, what are you doing here?" He turned, hope and nerves in his eyes. "Supporting local talent," he said, then glanced at Diego. "Your son invited me, said his project used ideas from our condos." "Diego," Sophia said, half exasperated, half amused. "I'm glad he did," Nathan cut in. "I've missed you, Sophia." Diego grinned and slipped away to chat with a teacher, leaving them alone. "You look good," Nathan said, his voice soft. "So do you," Sophia lied. His eyes were shadowed, his shoulders tense. "Sophia," Nathan started, "what happened with the tabloids? It's why we can't," she said, cutting him off. "Our worlds don't fit." "That's not real," he said, stepping closer. "That's just fear." "It's reality," she insisted. "I worked years for respect. One article turned me into a gold digger. Diego had to face his friends after those photos." "He's tougher than you think," Nathan said gently. "He told me you're the one hurting." Before Sophia could argue, the fire alarm screamed. Chaos erupted, students scrambling, teachers shouting. Sophia scanned the gym, spotting an elderly janitor, Mr. Lopez, missing near the back exit. "He's hard of hearing," she said, bolting toward the hall. "Sophia, wait," Nathan called, following her through the crowd. Smoke tickled her nose as they found Mr. Lopez, dazed by a side door. Together they guided him out, coughing as paramedics took over. In the parking lot, Nathan pulled her aside. "You didn't even think," he said, awe in his voice. "You just ran to help. That's who you are, Sophia." Her throat tightened. Before she could speak, Eleanor approached, her face unreadable. "Well," she said, glancing between them, "some things don't break easily." "You don't get to meddle anymore," Nathan said, his voice low but firm. "Not in this." Eleanor's eyes flicked to Sophia. "He told you about my visit?" "Diego did," Nathan said, nodding toward the teen who shrugged nearby. Sophia stared at her son, half proud, half annoyed. Eleanor sighed. "I may have been wrong about a few things. Clara always said I cared too much about image." She looked at Diego's booth where his bridge model stood proud. "That's impressive work." "Thanks," Diego said, holding up his bronze medal. "Third place." "Northwestern's got a great engineering program," Eleanor said, almost warm. "My brother taught there." As Diego and Eleanor talked shop, Nathan turned to Sophia. "We need to talk," he said quietly. "No running this time." Sophia hesitated, then nodded. "Tomorrow. Coffee? Somewhere normal." The next morning, they met at a cozy diner in Wicker Park, halfway between her world and his. Over pancakes and black coffee, Nathan spoke first. "I stepped back from Clara's foundation board." Sophia's fork paused. "Why?" "It wasn't mine," he said, his voice steady. "After Clara died, Eleanor and Vanessa kept me in her life. Galas, deals, expectations. It was easier than facing what I wanted." "And what's that?" Sophia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "To stop feeling like I'm betraying Clara for living," he said, his eyes raw. "To build something real, with someone who gets me, not my bank account." Sophia's pulse raced, but she held steady. "Nathan, nothing's changed. People will talk." "Let them," he said, leaning forward. "The tabloids didn't hurt because of lies. They hurt because losing you made everything empty." He paused, softer. "I'm not asking for forever, just a chance. No strings, no games, just us." Sophia studied him, the weight of his words sinking in. "Okay," she said slowly, "but Diego gets veto power." Nathan's laugh broke the tension. "Deal." Over the next months, they built something new. Nathan came to Sophia's apartment, learning to roll empanadas under Diego's teasing eye. Sophia joined him at low-key work events, introduced as Sophia, not the analyst. Eleanor, to everyone's shock, softened, showing up at Diego's school debate with a rare smile. "He's brighter with you," she told Sophia one day, almost grudgingly, like the Nathan Clara first knew, before life got heavy. When Sophia earned her business management degree that summer, Nathan and Diego sat in the crowd, whooping loud enough to embarrass her. Instead of pulling strings for a job, Nathan connected her with a friend's startup, a firm helping small Latino businesses with taxes and loans. Sometimes the strongest homes are built on the most unlikely foundations, Sofia Morales said, her voice steady despite the tears in her eyes. The community room of the Clara Caldwell Learning Hub glowed with candlelight, packed with staff, students, and supporters. Diego stood tall beside her, his grin wide with pride. Nathan Caldwell held her hand, his gaze never leaving her face. 2 years ago, she'd been a cleaning lady, dodging his coffee-stained shirt. Now, she was his partner, his love, his home. Summer had brought them to Nathan's lakefront cottage in Michigan, a test of blending their worlds. "Your place has its own dock," Diego teased, tossing a pebble into the water. "Too much?" Nathan asked, glancing at Sofia, genuinely worried. She laughed, squeezing his arm. "Just don't expect us to turn into yacht people. That's why we're here," Nathan said, his voice warm, "to keep it real." That evening, as Diego fished off the dock, Nathan and Sofia walked the shore, waves lapping at their feet. "I've been thinking about Clara lately," he said, his tone soft. Sofia's heart tightened, but he took her hand. "Not like before," he clarified. "I was holding onto a ghost, a perfect version of her. The real Clara? She was messy, driven, hated fake people, but worked the room like a pro." "What was she like, really?" Sofia asked, no longer scared of his past. "She wanted to make a difference," Nathan said, a bittersweet smile forming. "Not just sign checks, build something lasting. She'd have loved your fire, Sofia, your grit." "I wish I'd known her," Sofia said, meaning it. Nathan stopped, the sunset painting the lake gold. "I love you, Sofia," he said, simple and sure. "Not because you're different from Clara or like her, because you're you. Stubborn, kind, unstoppable. You woke me up when I was just existing." Sofia's breath hitched. They'd danced around those words for months. "I love you too," she admitted, her voice cracking, "even though I tried not to." Weeks later, in her Pilsen apartment, Sofia stirred a pot of sancocho when Nathan slid beside her, holding a small box. "Don't tell me that's a ring," she said, her spoon freezing. "Not yet," he said, opening it to reveal a key. "It's to a house. 3 bedrooms, close to Diego's college. Not a gift," he added quickly. "An invitation. Build a life with me." Diego leaned in the doorway, smirking. "I checked the place out. Good vibe. Decent commute to Northwestern." Sofia's jaw dropped. "You two planned this?" "He asked my okay," Diego said, trying to play it cool. "Very old school." "And?" Sofia prompted, half laughing. "Told him you'd say it's too fast," Diego grinned, "but you'd still say yes." Days later, as they packed Sofia's apartment, Nathan pulled out a folded letter. "What's this?" she asked, unfolding it. "My draft resignation," he said. "I'm stepping back as CEO of Caldwell Enterprises, staying on as advisor, but it's time for something else." "Your dad's company," Sofia said, stunned. "You live for it." "I almost lost myself to it," he countered. "I'm repurposing Clara's foundation, focus on education for first-gen kids, immigrant families, and I need someone to run it." Sofia's eyes widened. "Me?" "Only if you want," he said, his voice soft. "Your firm would hate to lose you, but—" She cut him off with a kiss, boxes forgotten. That fall, Vanessa Langley appeared at the Learning Hub's opening, her presence quieter than Sofia expected. "You've done what I couldn't," Vanessa said, after stiff small talk. "You brought him back." "I wasn't trying to," Sofia said honestly. "That's why it worked," Vanessa replied, a rare respect in her eyes. "I got it wrong, Sofia. It won't happen again." As Vanessa walked away, Nathan slipped beside Sofia. "All good." "Just laying bricks," Sofia said, leaning into him. "Isn't that what we do?" He chuckled, looking lighter than she'd ever seen. "Best spill I ever cleaned." 2 years later, sunlight poured through the Clara Caldwell Learning Hub in Little Village, its new halls alive with students, families, and donors. Classrooms buzzed with coding workshops, citizenship classes, and job training. Diego, now a junior at Northwestern, led a tour for investors, pointing to a mural of Chicago's skyline. "This is our mentorship space," he said, confident. "Kids like me get help applying to college." "He's a natural," Eleanor Grayson said to Sophia, watching from a corner. "Reminds me of Clara. Same spark when she talked about what mattered." Sophia nodded, still amazed at Eleanor's shift from bribes to booster. "He's thinking of adding urban planning to his degree. This place changed him." "It's changed us all," Eleanor said, her usual polish softened. "You most of all." Nathan joined them, handing out water bottles. "Mayor's here," he said. "Loves the place." "As he should," Eleanor said, taking a bottle. "This is what Clara dreamed of, a legacy that lives." As Eleanor greeted guests, Nathan pulled Sophia close. "Proud of this?" "Our dream," Sophia corrected, her head against his chest. "Couldn't have done it without you." "Liar," he teased, kissing her hair, "but I'll take it." Vanessa approached, her elegance dialed back. "This is incredible," she said. "My nonprofit wants to partner, maybe a youth job program?" "We'd love that," Sophia said, meaning it. Nathan tugged her toward a side hall. "Got something to show you." He led her to their shared office, where a new plaque gleamed by the door, Sophia Morales Caldwell, Executive Director. "When'd you do this?" Sophia asked, tracing the letters. "Board voted yesterday," Nathan said, taking her hands. "This is yours, Sophia. I'm just the guy who got lucky enough to stand beside you." "You're more than that," she said, her voice thick. Diego poked his head in, Eleanor behind him. "Everything's set," he said, a mischievous grin spreading. "For what?" Sophia asked, suspicious. "You'll see," Eleanor said, her smile rare and warm. Nathan guided her to the community room, now dimmed with fairy lights. Staff and friends formed a circle, Diego holding a small cake. "2-year anniversary," he said, "of the day you found his cufflink, when it all started." Nathan took her hand, his voice low. "You said our worlds were too different. You were right. But we didn't pick sides. We built this one." From the crowd, Mrs. Carver, now the hub's operations lead, brought out the cake, iced with a tiny mop and briefcase. "From spills to this," she said, winking. As applause broke out, Sophia's eyes blurred. "Speech!" Diego called. Sophia looked around, at Diego's pride, Eleanor's quiet nod, even Vanessa's softened gaze. 2 years ago I thought people like us, different lives, different worlds, couldn't last," she said. "I was wrong. It's not about where you start, or what you have. It's about who you choose to be with." She turned to Nathan, her voice dropping. "Sometimes the smallest moments, like a spilled coffee, build the strongest futures." Wow, what a ride, right? Sophia and Nathan's story broke all barriers. What did you think? Did it touch your heart? Comment below and tell us. If you loved it, hit like, share with friends, and subscribe. Don't forget the bell. What was your favorite moment? Let's hear it.